Alright, let's discuss while loops. We discussed while loops in LabVIEW, if you remember. Of course, in LabVIEW we had graphical representation of while loops. But in general, while loop, as you can see over here, while loops basically work on everything that is written inside the while loop based on the expression of the while loop if it becomes true. So as long as the expression is true, the statements written inside the while loop are going to be executed. And when the expression is going to become false, it's going to come out of the while loop. The program is going to come out of the while loop, and everything that is written after the while loop is going to be executed. So that's as simple as that. Expression again are relational expressions that we studied under the if statements. That is, you are comparing two things using equal, equality, greater or equal, less or equal, not. Also, if you are taking AND operation between the two conditions, or operation between the two conditions, all of these can be the expressions for while loop. I have bunch of examples over here, one, if not bunch, at least few examples over here. So I have example number 20, and this example basically is evaluating a value of k. If the value of k, which is basically each value of the input vector x. Over here I'm assigning k is equal to x of a, and initially my a is 1. So the first value that will be assigned to k will be the first value of x. And I'm examining this value if it is less than 100 and if a is less than the length of x, right? So a is less than the length of x means that you have not reached to the end of the vector x. So if this condition is satisfied, then I'm going to increase the value of a by 1. So a is my counter, right? It is updating, it's the iteration, it's updating the value of a each time the while loop is going to run. And then it is also going to change the value of k. Basically, it's going to add the next value of x to the current value of x, because k is holding the current value of x when x of 1. Then it's going to update a is equal to a plus 1. That's going to become a is going to become 2, and then it's going to add x of 1 plus x of 2 and assign this value to k. And then while loop is gonna examine the condition again if the value of k, that is x plus 1 plus x plus 2, is less than 100, and again if a has not reached the end of the vector x, then it is going to increase a again, and then it's going to change the value of k and add the third value of vector x. X plus 1, x plus 2 is already x of 1, x plus x of 2 is already assigned to k, and then it's going to change, it's going to add x of 3 as well, because current value of a is 2, so 2 plus 1, 3, and it's going to go back to the value of it. So basically what this while loop is doing, that as long as the value of k is less than 100, this is going to run. So you are adding x of 1 plus x of 2 plus x of 3 plus x of 4 all the way up to until the value, the sum of this value becomes greater or equal to 100. And in the process, if you reach to the end of the vector, then this condition will become unsatisfied. So either of these conditions become 0, and the AND between the two conditions will produce a 0. Remember, AND operation, any of the input is 0, the output will be 0. For AND to be 1, all of the inputs, they have to be 1. So either when you keep adding x of 1, x of 2 and all those things, either the value reaches to 0, reaches to 100 at least, or you run out of all the inputs of x, then it is going to keep the k value to whatever the last value is. uh, Either it has reached 200 or it has not, and it has reached the end of the vector x, and then it's going to come out of the while loop. And then if a is equal to length of x, if a, that means the vector that was we were updating, is equal to the length of x, that is the last value. If a is equal to the last value of the vector x, then we're gonna print basically adding all of the elements of the input vector x. Length of the input vector is this. So we're gonna basically display what is the sum of all the values of x, right? And we are going to display length of the input vector is this, which is of course a. That's going to be the length of input vector. A equals length of x. Now if you reach to the last value of x and still your sum is less than 100, then you're going to write down adding up to element number, whatever number, or sorry, you do not reach to the end of the vector, but your sum becomes 100. That you're just going to write down that the sum is going to become 100 until you reach this vector basically. So you're going to write down the value, total value of the sum, which is 100 or greater than 100, whatever the value of k is, current value of k, and then you're going to write down at what index it has reached to that value by printing the value of it. So here we are using a while loop to do that easily, and of course we are using if to check the condition. Alright, some sample outputs are given to you. Again, I will advise you to do this problem. Look at the sample output. Random number generation. There are multiple random number generation functions that are present in MATLAB. Two of them, or all three of them actually, we use very commonly is RAND. RAND basically generates a random number between 0 and 1 using the uniform distribution. So 0 and 1, 0 0.1, 0 0.12, 0 0.13, 0 0.52, all of these numbers can be generated using RAND. RANDI generates integers only, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And RANDN generates random numbers from Gaussian distribution. And don't worry about what Gaussian distribution is, but it generates a number from the Gaussian distribution, which is also a bell-shaped curve basically. Alright, check out these functions. The examples are given here, or hints are given here as how you're going to use it. Run it in command window and see what you get. This is the exercise 18. Generate a random integer between 1 and 10, right? How you going to generate the random integer? You can use randi, right? Randi, and right here, single number, randi, max number 1. So you're going to do randi 10, 1. So it's going to generate maximum up to 10, right? And it's going to generate one number only. So you're going to use randi to generate a random integer and save it in a variable, right? Let's say you save it in x. Now your goal in this problem is that the user has to guess the correct number that you have generated, integer that you have generated. So the way you're going to do this problem is you're going to use a while loop. So outside the while loop, first you are going to generate a random integer between 1 and 10, save it in a variable, and then you're going to ask a question outside the while loop that guess an integer between 1 and 10, and assign this into another variable, let's say guess. So user is going to enter a number and you're going to save that number into the variable guess. Now if this number matches with the correct number, then your job is done. So you're going to run a while loop now. And what will be the expression for the while loop? If guess is equal to, or let's say you have to run the while loop multiple times. If guess is not equal to x, that is the user guess is not equal to the random number that was generated, then you start running the while loop. So if the number is guessed outside the while loop, and also you can assign a variable to keep track of how many turns it's going to take for the user to guess the number. So outside the while loop, you're gonna assign this variable where you're keeping the number of turns. You're gonna assign value 1 because it's possible that the user can guess outside the while loop in the first attempt, right? So you assign a number 1 to this iteration variable, and then you go inside the while loop if user does not guess properly in the first attempt, right? So while loop will start running. Now inside the while loop, you're going to increase this number of iteration by 1 because now user is going to guess second time. And then you're going to ask this question again. Your guess was incorrect, please guess again. And assign it to the same variable guess, right? Because you're gonna replace the value of the original number that user guessed by the current number. So user is going to guess again. If the value is incorrect, the while loop is going to run again. You're going to update the iteration variable by 1 again, ask the user again. So as long as user will keep guessing incorrectly, the while loop will keep running. And as soon as the guess is correct, a while loop condition is going to become false. That is, now the guess is no longer not equal to the variable, the random number that was generated. So that condition is going to become false. Now they will become equal, and it's going to come out of the while loop, and then you will just have to print the value, or print how many turns did it take for the user to guess the number, and that number of turns you're keeping track of those number of turns in the iteration variable, right? So simple exercise, make sure to do it, and next video we're gonna discuss for loops.